them somewhere teach one thing, make it simple and let the child understand. If we can have a curriculum with a set of books and a proper one board, I think our country will do better in the education system. Need-based learning has to be very clearly defined to the teachers. We can't teach them the way we were taught yesterday.
Hello and a very warm welcome to Great Principles. I am Seema Chhoriya and I bring to you another insightful conversation today. Joining me in conversation is my very devoted educator of the day, Ms. Paanchali Dasgupta. She is principal of Birla Open Minds International Schools, LB Nagar, Hyderabad. Welcome to Great Principles, ma'am. We are very honored to have you with us today.
Thank you, thank you. It's a pleasure for me as well.
Ma'am, today we are definitely looking forward to an insightful session with a lot of learnings. So let us begin by knowing about you. What led you to be an educator and what keeps you going here?
Well, I think I always started as a teacher. I never went to any other stream. When I look back at the 30-year-old career of mine, it's more than 30 years. I started as a teacher. I started in a government school. I started liking the children. Probably that was in me because I have a family where many of my aunts and all have been dedicated teachers in the family. And therefore, it came to me very naturally that I would like to be a teacher. And I grew as a teacher. I started teaching English, and that's how my career began. And then I moved on to different portfolios, suggested in schools where I joined as a teacher. I was promoted as the headmistress of that school. This happened in Ooty. So when I look back there, I think I got the best. That was the best time of my life as a career as a teacher because I learned how to teach children at all levels. This is in the year 1990s when hardly this differentiated teaching and learning came into existence. It was there somewhere because we had David Horsborough and all teaching, talking about this kind of teaching. But I really liked and I learned there, and that I used in my few institutions that I joined later. Yeah.
All right. So, hailing from a teacher's family, from for
Yes.
every generation, teaching methodologies are different. Your teaching style changes from teachers to now we talk about being mentors. So, tell me something, ma'am. In your journey, did you find any challenges and how did you overcome them?
Oh, yes, a lot of U turns in the whole system. I joined in as a teacher, as a typical teacher of a high school in a government organization. And that was a very conventional rote learning method where children used to travel, walk kilometers just to come to a school to study. This I'm talking about is in 1980s. And then, and it was in a remote village because always the postings, they used to do it in the rural areas. I learned a lot from those children. They taught me that if I speak in English, it may not be reachable to them. So I had to learn Hindi and start talking to them so that I can understand their difficulties because there I felt I was more of a teacher than just an English teacher. So that was my first learning. As I moved on to these schools like alternative schools in Ooty, like Blue Mountain School and all, I learned then what more can a teacher do apart from just transacting the syllabus. It's not all about syllabus. It's about bringing the child up where he starts not depending on you, but starts seeing you and learning from your mistakes as well as your strengths, and then put them together as a part of their personality. This happened in the 90s. That's the first time I heard the word holistic. That's in 1995, 94. That's the time. And I realized that, okay, this is something which is a word which encompasses so many areas of teaching. And there I learned also the word differentiated teaching and learning. And from there, I started taking off with those techniques into my next school, which was in Assam Valley School, where I learned how the whole process can be documented in system, like digital thing came in, and I started working on the digital, which I didn't know prior to that. So these were my challenges. I didn't know how to make a question paper, and I go into a school and the school says, well, you have to set up a question paper of 24 pages, all set by you. I mean, all typed and everything, pay all that composition and everything. I learned that. I used took the help of a computer teacher, so I became a learner there, and today I am proficiently teaching others to do it. So this was a big challenge for me. I used to get frightened of that system, but over a period of time, I realized that no, it's just a tool which I can utilize it. And therefore, now in the 21st century, with this kind of schools coming up, with the pandemic and post-pandemic, it has really shown me that no challenge is big enough if you have the will to go ahead. And I did that. I got into this mode of being the principal of a school in Doha, and then also in DPS, Delhi Public School. I started the school. I taught the teachers how to handle the computer. I taught them how to take it into making PPTs and all that. So basically, I realized that all those challenges which were frightening for me some years ago, I could do it because of some of my mentors. They really helped me to look beyond and showed me what is my capacity. So, therefore, I believe in that philosophy, that quote, that I must empower others the way others have empowered me. I should see some more principals coming up and leading the schools with a lot of confidence, which if I can do a little bit, 20% of it, then I'll know that it's worthwhile. The journey is worthwhile.
So entire journey is full of lot of learnings. With every challenge, you
Yes.
understood that yes, you can overcome it, and every challenge later on proved to be your strength as you learned and learned in it. Wonderful,
Yes.
ma'am. So since you have seen so many generations, you have taught so many kids. Now is the generation which is born with the technology. So what do you think? What is the kind of approach you need to take so that this generation is equally intelligent and immersed in education as the earlier one? It is said that the attention span of this generation is pretty low. So how do you change your approach to teach these kids, the kids of tomorrow?
They say their attention is low because they're taught by the people who are of the earlier age. If we can teach them the way they accept it, they are equally intelligent, they are equally observant, they are very observant. In fact, I should tell you this, they are more adjusting, their adaptability is very high. They have seen, they in this little age, they are seeing things which we were very slowly seeing it when we were children. So I must appreciate the way they are at fast pace moving. What we can do is leave that baggage behind and look forward to it from their eyes. And then I think they respect us. Because many a times it happens, you must agree, that children have a kind of don't care attitude. You know why they do that? Because they feel we are much behind. Because one of my children, I think in the year 2002, 2003, I mean, it was a residential school. I'm talking about a Sam Valley school. The child in class 12 told me, ma'am, I was basically the house mistress as well, and I was also the head of the department. So I was playing two roles. So I was very close to the girls as well. So when I used to tell them, look, you can't do this, you have to be like this, typical of those teacher attitudes I used to show. And the children used to say, man, you belong to 18th century or what? You come up, you have to be like us. The children used to come and say this. I'm talking about 2000. So now imagine in 2021 where they have gone ahead. Now if we try to pull them back, it's our mistake. So we have to give them the space and teach them the way they understand, not the way we learned it. As Rabindranath Tagore has told, we can't teach them the way we were taught yesterday. So
Very
therefore,
true.
that is the gap. If that gap can be bridged, I think these children are very good at all. They have a lot of virtues in them. We have to tap them.
Certainly, ma'am. With the kind of exposure these kids have, they already have learned so much. Now, as you rightly said, we need to go to their level and teach them in the way they understand. So, once that is happening, our children would enjoy the process of learning, and that is what we want. We want them to enjoy the learning process and become a good citizen ahead. So wonderful
Exactly.
knowing this, that you have already understood that what is needed to be done is make changes in yourself, try to fit in their shoe and see the world from their lens. So this is what every teacher, every parent, every mentor need to understand. So this was a wonderful learning here. Moving ahead to our rapid fire round, ma'am, you have to answer me in one word or a sentence would do.
Okay.
So
How
my
much
very
time will I be given?
ma'am, as fast as you can in this because it's a fun-paced round, a
Right.
fast-paced round and very fun round. So
Okay.
my first question would be a difficult one for you. Uh, all right. So since you always wanted to be a teacher and you are hailing from a teacher's family also, but in case you were not a teacher, then what would you have been?
Musician. I love
Musician,
music.
or you
Yes.
love music.
I
Okay.
always, I thought it in my mind. If I were not a teacher, I would be some singer somewhere. Not that I sing, but I have when I checked my multiple intelligence, I saw that my musical intelligence was on the top. So I realized that music just comes to me. So maybe a composer, maybe something, but could be something in the music line. Yes.
All right. So what do you do apart from your professional work in your recreational time?
I do listen to music because I love
Mhm.
that. I do like to, if children are around, I play around with them. I have played football also. I just can't believe it. Some years ago, I did play football with the children. I used to play throw ball with them because I'm not a sports person. But yes, I love doing that. And I feel that made me happy. And I remain cheerful. And apart from that, I also do a little bit of reading. Okay, I do read, but I do not read normally fictions now. Earlier, I used to read fictions. Now I go into more like teaching, education, growth, psychology a little bit. These things
Okay.
they interest me a lot.
Right. Moving ahead to my next question. There are so many boards in our country. Do you think that one nation, one board would have been better?
Yes, if you are ready with the syllabus, if you are ready with the curriculum, yes, why not? That will standardize. In fact, when I have taught in ICSE schools, I have also taught in state board, MP state board, where I was working with the government school. I am also currently working with CBSE. Also, I have had a tinge of IGCSE. So I feel all of them somewhere teach one thing: make it simple and let the child understand. If we can have a curriculum with a set of books and a proper one board, I think our country will do better in the education system. I think so, yes.
So, ma'am is very much for one board, one nation, provided it fits in the right frame. All right.
Yes,
So,
yes.
moving ahead to my next question. What is one thing about you which many people would not know?
They don't know that I sing. I used to love singing. Nobody knows because I don't sing ever. But I have taught children to learn to sing songs in the school, encouraged, empowered my music teachers to do that. So people don't know that. But one thing is there. What people know is I don't get angry. I'm calm with them. That they know. But they don't know that this person also might be having some sense of music. This I don't say. Since you
It is,
asked, I said.
it is said that one should always go back to the things they love. So, would you start singing again?
No, not really now because my voice has gone off. But yes, I'm thinking of, since I come from Bengal, which is a land of music. So I used to play the guitar. I have learned some instruments also. Maybe yes, I love the keyboard. Yes, I might go back
Yes.
after
So,
I
you'll
have
stay
nothing to
connected
do.
with music.
Yes,
Yes.
it should be music.
All right.
Yes.
Financial literacy. Do you think that we equip our school going kids with it or not?
With the financial literacy,
Yeah.
as of now, not much. We haven't. In fact, but yes, currently in our school we have a Birla Brainiacs app, which we have introduced in the school, where the children are taught at different levels of different subject streams. They're given a little bit of coding. They're given a little bit of financial, these investments and all. We are trying to reach
Mhm.
out to the children also so that the children don't find this as a shocker for them when they go out to the market of jobs. So we have started this, but yes, in the last few years it wasn't. As of currently, I think we have started it. Yes,
Very much needed, financial
yes,
literacy
it
in
is
the
very
world.
much needed. Yes,
We are talking
like
about
earlier.
equipping children with skills.
Yes, earlier we used to say that children should be out of the money factor, but now it's no more. Now the children are like, ma'am. Also, I should tell you, I for some time had a stint of teaching verbal ability to CAT students in Bangalore. Okay, for this common
Mhm.
admission also. So I did it for GMAT and exam, CAT. And when I was
Yeah.
teaching them, I realized that the children asked me this question that, see, we don't know how to handle our finances. And the question which is asked during the PI is, how will you finance your whole course? And if the child says, like, I am Calcutta or Bangalore or all, they used to come and tell us as students that if we are saying them that my father will take care of the finances, that used to be a negative mark there. So they used to find it very silly that a child of 20, 25 years should say that my parents will do that for me. So probably the time has come now to prepare our children at the school level. Yes.
Absolutely, very well said, ma'am. Very practically also explained that how it is relevant from your own experience. Moving ahead
Yes.
to my next question, the mode of learning and representing it back in examination paper. Is it a right mode of evaluating? Do you agree?
The mode of evaluation currently as an examination paper, we haven't, as teachers, we have never been given the option of what next. But there was a pattern of CC which had come a few years ago. That was a
Yes.
marvelous system, which I really used in many of my schools, where formative assessment was not this typical examination paper. It was different. We used to have role plays, we used to have debates, we used to have GDs where assessments were done without any examination paper, but the learning was assessed. But eventually, since we could not handle it very efficiently, somewhere that pattern went off. Probably if that pattern comes back, what you said, it really examination paper is not always the reflection of the child's learning, because I have had examples where a child did very well in the class with the theory and the concept, but when it was put to paper and pencil, the child did pathetic. And I realized that day the child's mood was not okay. It's not that the child forgot, he was not in a mood to put it down. So that could not be a yardstick for us to assess the child's performance. But yes, that is what we are having currently with us. But if these things can be evaluated and brought to that progressive level, I think our education will become much stronger, where only a paper, 3 hours paper, does not make all the difference.
Absolutely, ma'am. Very well explained about it. And yes, to all my dear viewers, CBSE has introduced CCE, which is called Continuous Comprehensive Evaluation. It was a wonderful approach, as ma'am also mentioned, which was very helpful to assess the child, and the holistic education that we talk about. That was very much taken care of in CCE approach. Yes, there was a lot of work in that approach, definitely for teachers to put in, but it was a beautiful approach. So, ma'am, as we were talking about this approach and about learning method, I would like to know more about the children learning system. How can we make it better? As generations are changing, method curricula is changing. How can we improve, transform teaching also as per the need of children?
See, as per the need of the children, if we have to do, first of all, we have to equip the teachers with that. The teachers have to be trained. Firstly, the teacher has to identify which child needs what. This need based learning has to be very clearly defined to the teachers. If we are able to do this in the trainings that we take, I think the need based learning can be done, as I said, differentiated teaching and learning. There was a school where I tried this in Uti, where I set different papers for different students in a class, in one single class. What I did was, there are some children who are very comfortable with the case study based questions. There are some children who are very good with the comprehension based questions. But there are some children who are very good when it comes to speaking, when it comes to, acting it out, When it comes to asking them to draw up a puzzle or a riddle, they do very, very well. So we tried to do things that way also, and I realized that some children did excellent there. But one problem was there. It is not, standardized by the government. So it did not get a recognition at that level, because this is a philosophy of David Horsborough, who said that in a class, parallel teaching can happen. That means different children, according to their levels, are learning the same chapter. The chapter could be, say, for example, Julius Caesar by Shakespeare. Now, Julius Caesar taught as a play with that same language is an advanced learner. But Julius Caesar taught as a summary and a story is an elementary learner. Can we do that for two need-based learning? If this we can do, and ultimately both have done Julius Caesar, but they have done it at different levels. This, if we can accept and standardize, I think a lot of it will really uplift the standard of education in our country. But it will need teachers to be equipped for that. My major constraint was I could visualize it. I shared it with my teachers. But when I trained and the teacher leaves the school and goes away, that's a very sad thing happening, because that whole process is not carried forward. This was one of my major hurdles, which I noticed.
Absolutely, Mohan. So there is a solution, and there are some practical problems also. But
Yes,
yes, the crux is that every teacher needs to be equipped rightly with the right kind of tools, right kind of education, right kind of approach, and even psychological study is important so that she
yes,
understands
yes,
what is the
that's
need
very
of the
true.
child. Social emotional skills evaluation of a child is very important so that we can understand what is his learning methodology, how the child learns better. So this was Panchali ma'am. She brought in some very brilliant points today. This was a very insightful session, ma'am. I really thank you and appreciate you for the
Thank
time
you
with
so
us. And I hope that your wise words resonate far and wide in the world of education. Thank you so much for your time, ma'am.
Thank you so much. Thank you.